Oh, hey everyone, I'm Big John, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Ability Show. Now, as you can see this week, I'm still not in my studio. Right now, I am in my RV, visiting my parents in Connecticut. My grandparents in Connecticut, I should say. But the show must go on. So, this week I want to talk to you guys about Photopass. Now, at first we thought Photopass was, not really worth it. But then when we became annual pass holders, it became very cool because now we can and now get professional shots with everyone in the picture. I mean, in a pre-COVID world, you could ask a random stranger or if they could take a picture of us, but now that's obviously not happening right now. But with Photopass, you can get perfect pictures, and then sometimes they'll ask you to do some poses, and then a certain Disney thing would appear in that picture that would have us be reacted to that pose. So it's very cool and convenient to have, and they'll just scan your magic band to make sure that you're able to do the Photopass. And make sure you do it because it is very convenient, especially in COVID when you don't want a random stranger touching your camera. I think that's a very good thing to have. So if you don't have Photopass yet or not an annual pass holder, I highly suggest it. So that's my tip. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. And now it's time for this week's Top 5. So, May the 4th, aka Star Wars Day, is coming up this Tuesday, and, people are thinking, man, is he going to talk about his favorite Star Wars movies? No, I'm going to talk about my favorite Star Wars shows. That's right, because there are many different Star Wars shows that I've grown up with and that are now on Disney Plus, and I want to talk about them right now. Number 5, the original 2D Star Wars Clone Wars series. Not the 3D version, but the 2D version, because the ones that Cartoon Network used to air, like tiny little animated snippets in the Star Wars era, and I think half of those are very accurate to the 3D, the Clone Wars series, because in that version, you don't see Anakin as a Padawan. But in the 2D version, you do. So I think if you put the first half and the Clone Wars series together, I think those really mash together quite perfectly. So anyway, number 4 on my list, Star Wars Resistance, a show that aired on Disney XD. It talks about a pilot named Kaz who was recruited by the Resistance to search for a spy for the First Order on a planet that is sort of like a little like a docking station, or where pilots race and stuff, and he goes undercover as a mechanic. And I think it's pretty cool because for most of that series he has BB-8 with him, but for the rest of the series he has another BB unit whose name I forgot. If anyone in the comments can let me know what the name of that droid is, that would be awesome. Check that one out on Disney Plus, as well as the 2D Clone Wars. All right, number 3, Star Wars Rebels. Now, this one is pretty cool because it shows a small group of rebels that we did not know from the original films or in the prequels, and I think that's pretty cool because a whole new cast of characters, some new Jedi, and some appearances by some familiar faces. Ahsoka, Vader, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Maul. that one is pretty, and of course Hondo, who, if you don't know who Hondo is, he's the guy in the Smuggler's Run queue in Hollywood Studios in Disneyland. So make sure you check that show out. Number 2, one that I just mentioned, the 3D, the Clone Wars series. Now, this is where, when we first saw this one many years ago when it was first released on Cartoon Network, we were like, Anakin has a Padawan? And since then, Ahsoka became a household name, and it is a pretty cool show. So I suggest highly watching that. And my number 1 favorite Star Wars show, one that should have won at the Kids' Choice Awards for favorite family TV show, The Mandalorian. It is sort of like the space equivalent to a Western. It showed, because why not? Baby Yoda. And if you watched the season finale, if you haven't, I highly suggest it, because of Boba and Luke Skywalker. And make sure you watch all those shows on Disney Plus, and let me know in the comments what your favorite Star Wars show is. Now, I want to say something that everyone has been happy about for about all week. Disneyland has finally reopened yesterday, and I am so happy for all of my California friends, especially one of my shout outs this week. And I'm so happy for all of them and to have their park once again open. And I'm so happy Disneyland's finally reopened, because it is Walt's park. And I felt this hole in my heart this entire 400 plus days without it being opened. And I'm glad that hole has finally been filled. Welcome home, Disneyland. So, that's this week's show. As I said, let me know in the comments if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. Now, for this week's shout-outs, make sure you check out my friends, the Sabal family Vlogs. Robert starts his Traditions this weekend, which is the orientation for new Disney cast members. Also, make sure you check out his vlogs and live streams on YouTube and Facebook. Also, make sure you check out my buddy Michael at Mousepiration. If you haven't watched my interview with him from last weekend, check it out. It's on his YouTube page. Make sure you check that out. Also, check out my friend Beth over at Best Disney Adventures. She's going to be doing a live stream this Tuesday on Star Wars Day at Disney's Hollywood Studios, where she's going to give out lightsabers to some lucky kids. Make sure you check that out. Also, my friends Fresh Baked Disney over in California, so glad that they're finally able to go back to Disneyland. Make sure you check them out. And as always, for the latest attraction news, make sure you check out my good friends over at Attractions Magazine. And until next time, have a zippity-doo-dah day.